Hello everyone. Today's session we're gonna cover complex data type of Hive. We will perform a demo and insert some data in real tables and try to show you how data is displayed and how we're gonna access that data. We already did a session on data types. We have given a brief introduction of complex data types in last session, and all other primitive data types is being covered in last session. So let's take a look at that right now, which data type we're gonna cover in today's session. So these primitive data type we might not covering in this session because these are being used by many other RDBMS and people might have aware, and their syntax is pretty simple to load the data in any table. We will be talking today related to complex data type, in which array, map, struct and union will be our main data type to be discussed and to be implemented in any table and get the result displayed in select clause. How we gonna do that? Let's start with array. Array is a collection of items which does contain this similar data type. It means you can only save same data type in one array. So array can hold one element and more than one element. Array can be declared like this, array and then the data type. You should not be mentioning that how many element will this array gonna contain. It will automatically append, but how it's gonna append in Hive, that's basically we all know that Hive is a read schema architect, so loading is pretty simple, but in that case we just need to make some changes in our table that once array syntax arrive, so table can recognize, Hive can load that data in a correct format that it's an array variable behind the scene and display you accordingly. If we just see that it's been displayed like this array, this is the integer array which is being given an example. So if we go there, that we define a table which got two array, one is int and other array is of double. So what we did, we put an extra clause in it, that collection item terminated by comma sign. So that's an important factor. If we see that in our data, what we did, all the columns is being separated by tab sign. So you need to put tabs in it, and once collection comes in it, that need to be coupled together, all the values, and we need to put them with a separate them with a comma sign. So this is some currency array table we derived it. This data is some currency array data in which we are storing ors in int form. Every or the table is storing that what it was the rate of that in currency conversion to and from currency, and with every or the rate is being given. So that's why that rate is going up, conversion rate can be down, so it can be in double, but ors will, the end or is being 1 to 23. It's starting from 0, so it's 24 ors, so it's required an integer array. Let's take a look at that in Hive mode, how we're gonna access these array and how we're gonna load this array in an Hive table. So let's log into our VM, which we already been using for other session as well. It's Hortonworks VM. So root, then get the password. So we are on VM. First of all, we need to see that whether we already got the data in our system HDFS drives, so that we can load that data in it, whatever the table we're gonna define. So let's log into another session of VM. So let's take a look at that. So we got almost all four types of data, four different data type we're gonna discuss today. So let's take a look at that. What exactly array data says to us? How was it formed? So it's almost the same data which we have shown you on the slide deck. So if you can take a look at that this is integer array, and then this is double array. So syntax is being formatted by tab delimited, and collection is being formatted with comma separated. So let's define the table. So we just need to create a new database. Now we're gonna copy this definition and try to take advantage of paste. Before that, we just need to do use database, so that right now our database was default database, which is we not gonna use for today's session. We will be using the new database we have created, so we just need to do that so that it will be crystal clear what we are gonna do and what is happening in that database. So table is being created. Let's take a look at that. What definition is being derived from our definition. So create table currency array. So this is how it's look like. Just copy the load command and try to get that execute. So I'm giving the path where data is available, file to process, array file, the same file which I have shown you. So in currency array table, and currency array table is already built in complex data type database. So we set the complex data type database as a default database for us, session database for us. So let's load it. Start loading. It's done. So let's try to query what result we are gonna get. So it look like that we are able to load 9 lines. Let's take a look at that. Is data correctly loaded? So we just opened a file a while ago. So the last line of this data file was having Yen to Euro, and the first line of it is GBP to PKR. So if we go there, it's GBP to PKR, first one, and the last line is Yen to Euro. So that's look like we have done a sanity check. It look like that all the lines has been in. So let's run a query with the selective clause of array. So I guess just gonna get that result, try to get that result, the selective clause of array. So I am just putting time or as is array alias 2 and weight of 2. So at 2 o'clock, what was the rate of currency at that time? So this could be the value. If we see that 0 2, it's at 2, it started from 0 0 1 2. So we already set up OR from 0 1 2. It's more kind of same number. So 2 is coming there. That's good. So with array 2, we just pick first one. That is must be third one. So we have given 2. So it's been started from 0. So it's third one that we are trying to select. So it looks okay to me. So this is how you're gonna access array. So let's move on to next data type, complex one, which is map. Map is a collection of key pairs. So this means that data inside map data type will be stored in form of key pairs. So if we take an example of that, that's one is data primitive type and then data type. So we primitive mean that we gonna be storing within integer or primitive data types. We already discussed earlier about that. And then the other data type would be any. So take a look at that, the external table for this one. So we are separating this map data with colon. So if we see the data, there is a population map we gonna discuss in that table, where first is due date, on which date is being taken, then city, then gender, then p count is a form of map, which both have the integer in it. So just take a look at that, date, city, male, gender or female. So how map is being stored, that it's 2018 colon how much the population of that. So that is 2018 is one of the key pairs. So we will take a look at that, how we gonna access that. But just to let you know, the data inside that is a form of array. If we go to back to the definition, where fields are accessed using array notation of keys, so we will gonna access that. And so it's mean that map data will be collectively stored collectively in the file, and then between them there will be semicolon, or there will be colon, and between them there will be comma. So let's take a look at that, what exactly it behave and how we're gonna load it. So we are just gonna create a table. So external population, let me copy that. So table has been created. I just forget to mention that fields data is being separated by tab. Collection, because map is also a collection, so it's been separated by comma, and the key pairs, the map keys, terminated with a colon. So let's load the data in that table. First of all, we will see what it's defined. So here you can see that it's map data type in it. So we're gonna load the data in it. So it's loaded. If we just go and see it again, so here is the data. Data is being shown in form of curly brackets, and it will be in more every data is being stored as a collection in it. So let's take a look at that, how we can access a specific value from it. I'm accessing p count for values who's having 2016, the first value I'm gonna give that. So for 2016, it show me the population of that. If I just check that, where's the 2016 for first row? It was like this. I didn't display the date. Let me display this date as well. So here is it. It's more appropriate if 2016 having this value, then this value, then 800, 100. So you can see that there an appropriate key pair is being selected. So this is how you can access map values. So let's move to next data type, which is next complex data type, which is struct. Struct is a record type which encapsulated a set of name field that can be primitive data types. An element in struct type can be accessed by dot notation. So in simple words, struct is being more associated with a class. If we have in object-oriented programming, a class structure does have their attributes. So in case of struct, we can define the attributes of some specific product, and then it can be accessed with a dot notation. Here we can see that we have defined a car table. In it, we are defining a company name, and then its attribute is being defined in that manner, because some of the attribute does not have value. So whatever the attribute we're gonna define, it will come in it. So there comes engine name, CC, color, and gear. We have defined 4 value. Every value have a different primitive data type. So here is the data, company name, then we have engine name, then we have CC, then we have color, and then how many gears associated with that. So if we see the data, it's been the collection is again terminated with an comma sign, and field has been terminated through tab sign. So let's define a table with a struct. So table is defined. Let's check that what data types were in it. So we can see there the struct data type has been defined in it. So let's load the data for struct so that we can then review what exactly available and how to access that struct. Alright, data has been loaded in it. Let's try and look what exactly we have loaded. Store in that one. So let's try to access the value, and you can see that it's showing me in form of curly bracket. Let's go back to that, in form of curly brackets, and all the collection has been stored in that manner. We try to access that specific value from struct data type. We're trying to access car features dot engine name and car features dot cc. So we're trying to check the company. So inside in it, as we told that the dot notation required to get that access, so it's showing me the cc and car engine name with the car company name, which was stored in this table. So this is struct. Let's move to union. So union is a collection of heterogeneous data type. It can contain struct in it. So we have a table in it where we are storing union data type and union have int and an array. So there are two different type of variable. One is primitive and one is inside in it, that complex data type. Let's try to create the table. Here is the table definition. So we'll be creating it, a table from that same definition which has been shown in slide deck. So as table is being created, we try to show you that what data type is being used in it. Country union table has been made. So if I take a look at that, it's array, union data type, and data union. So we have two fields, country and data union is being defined as an union data type. So let's load the data in it. So it's loaded. Let's take a look at that country union table. So this is all about today's session. Just lastly, I want to mention that struct and union data type is derived from C struct and union data type, and there is major difference in it, that struct uses memory and union data type only fetch the highest block in the memory, not the all field. So do contact us in case of you have questions. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter and Facebook. Thank you.